I apologize for the shaky cam here, but next up on the bench is the Kenwood Model 11 III. And it's working as advertised. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to stop embarrassing myself right now. Well, I'm going to embarrass myself in a different way. I didn't understand how the timer worked on the Model 11. So I want to show you, and you know, I couldn't really find any videos that explain how this worked. So I'm going to take the time and do that right here and explain to you how this dial is supposed to work, how this little timer function works on here. So right now it's actually on and it's counting down. I set it to about 20 minutes and you can actually hear it clicking, ticking away like a watch or a clock. So if I hit the power button, you know, and I'll show you this in a minute, it'll come on. My assumption on this was when the dial was in the off position, or when the timer was in the off position, that meant that I should get power to the unit. When in reality, when the timer is in the off position, so when off, and I know you can't really see, when off aligns to that little timer box, no power, turn it off and on, no power is going to go to the unit. I assumed when it was off, that meant the timer was off and power should go to the unit. Actually, when it's at reset is when for all intents and purposes, the timer is bypassed. Now I will say that I started to go down the path of, oh, this thing isn't working and all that stuff. And that is partially true. It is not working the way it is supposed to. Whoops. It is not working the way it's supposed to. What is supposed to happen with this is, get this out, when the timer is done, it will go to off, and then it should go to reset. Or you should be able to move the dial to reset. This one, you cannot move it to reset. As a matter of fact, in trying to move it to reset, I wound up breaking the plastic shaft that couples the timer from the knob. And the dogs are barking, that's wonderful. So, which is a very common fault on these. So the cool thing is, it's a pretty simple repair. Well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this video up into a couple of different segments. First is going to be the evaluation of the receiver, which I'm going to finish up here. Second is going to be what I know right now needs to happen is some of the lamps need to be replaced. So that'll be either part of this video or part two. In the third part, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can address a broken timer on these. So a couple of different ways you can fix it. Now, some are going to be better than others. Some are going to last longer than others, right? It'll culminate in kind of a, my goodness, the dogs just won't stop barking. It'll culminate in kind of the long-term fix that I'm going to apply to this to get it to work. So if you come across one of these, or if you have one of these and the timer's broken and you don't know what to do, I'm going to show you a couple of different alternatives to address it. Apologize, I had to pause that real quick. Had to go see what Ralph was barking at. So behind my house is nothing but woods. There are always animals back there, so it was probably a deer or something of that nature walking in the woods behind the house. So anyway, again, stay tuned for either part 2 or part 3 when I cover a couple of different approaches to dealing with that timer. Now, the shop owner, the shop owner, I already talked to him, and I'm going to try the permanent fix at least for the plastic piece that broke, but I'll probably just end up bypassing the timer, which is what a lot of people do because the timer, you know, things happen to it. So anyway, and I'll discuss that in part 3 of the video. So for right now, I'm going to turn this down and I'm going to do a real quick run through. Now, I tested everything. It comes out of protection. There's no DC, right? All the basics have been done already. Much like the 6600 I just did, I absolutely love the display on these Kenwoods. So right now it's on speaker A, but there's no speaker A lamp, so I need to replace that lamp. B and C work. If I go through the functions, I get an AM light, I get no FM, phono, mic, auxiliary, so all of those work. Now I don't know about the Dolby light. It looks like there might be two Dolby lights here. I don't know when those would come on. I don't know if those are good or bad. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So Dolby's on there. Dolby FM. I don't know if the light is supposed to come on when Dolby FM is selected or not. One thing I have noticed, the stereo light is not illuminating. It sounds like stereo is coming through, so I'm going to troubleshoot that as well. So that's, and then it's going to be a general cleaning. Again, it's not in the case. I removed it from the case, but this is just, and clean finger, right, and then finger covered in dust. So lots of stuff on the inside there. So the timer's almost off. I can move it just a little bit. I don't want to break anything again. I still hear it running down. So anyway, all right. So that's going to be the approach on the Kenwood 11. So let me get into swapping out some of these lamps. So I'm going to move the camera up top and we'll talk about that.